Hey everybody, Chris Stafford here with the Max Show. That's Massive Abundance Exposed, where we expose the secrets of badass entrepreneurs all over the world. And do we have one badass entrepreneur? I am talking about none other than Toby Salgado. He runs the most amazing website called Super Agents Live. If you are a real estate agent or a broker and you really want to understand what top producing agents are doing, if you really want to get motivated, he has so many cool products. This is your go-to guy. Toby Salgado at Super Agents Live. I can't wait to start talking to him. But before we do, make sure you jump on to MassiveAbundanceInc.com and get yourself some free goodies there. And let's get on with the show. Hey everybody, you're not going to believe we have Toby Salgado in the house. How you doing, Toby?
I'm doing awesome, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, you have got the most amazing website, Super Agents Live, which is really ramping up and amping up a lot of successful real estate agents out there. Can't wait to start talking about that. But first, give us a little bit about your background, Toby, and how did that lead you into Super Agents Live?
Yeah, sure. You know, so my background, Chris, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've done in my career, not counting Super Agents Live, I've launched and operated 5 companies. 2 have been failures, 2 have kicked off 7 figures in revenue, and 1 kicked off 8 figures in transaction volume.
Wow.
And the deal is, how it led me into real estate is all of those companies have always been dancing around real estate. And I never really knew that. I mean, I sensed that, but they all just danced around real estate. And what really sealed it for me is the 8-figure company was actually a thing we launched after Lehman Brothers failed, September '08.
Wow.
Banks were tough. Banks were failing, and nobody could get money. So we went out. We actually found a deal. It was a $12 million deal. These guys needed $12 million, and we started a little fun. We went out and raised $12 million, and for about 18 months, we were doing bridge loans. Now, all those bridge loans, so again, those were bridge loans, but they were all secured by real estate. Again, another thing where I'm dancing around real estate. But what sealed it, Chris, is that we had an opportunity in late '09 to buy a giant portfolio. A builder had tipped over, went belly up, Chapter 8, on a $73 million portfolio, and we ended up buying it. We got it for $3.2 million, right? So
wow.
How do you not buy it, right? So we got it. Now all of a sudden, I'm firmly in real estate because I had this giant portfolio of land. So and then in terms of just selling that stuff off, well, after we bought that portfolio, I took $1 million of my money and started buying onesie-twosies. So I had this portfolio that we're slowly selling off, and then I started flipping houses. And again, it was just really by accident. I bought one, I bought another, and all of a sudden I had 12.
Right.
And what I learned through that process is that real estate is broken. You know, it's really still stuck in the 70s in a lot of ways. So I mean, people even in 2010 didn't have DocuSign. Some people did, some people didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I started this project, Super Agents Live, following Napoleon Hill's path, interviewing the most successful people in real estate. And you've been on the show, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And and I want to share those stories. I want to inspire people. I want to motivate people. I want to help people, go out and reach their dreams.
That's amazing. I love the fact when you say that real estate is broken. It's like back in the 70s. What else? Tell me more about that. What is it about the 70s?
I don't know. I mean, I just threw up. Maybe it's still like the 80s. But, I mean, real estate is something, if you look at a ton of other industries with technology, right? Mm-hmm. Travel in a lot of ways has been disintermediated, right?
Right.
I mean, look, technology has disintermediated almost everything. Mm-hmm. It hasn't real estate. Real estate is still face
people
to face.
Person, yeah, belly to belly.
People, exactly right. And will technology ever replace that? Not completely. I think we're going to make more headway than we have today with Zillow and Trulia and Redfin, but it's still an old industry. And because it's still an old industry, and it worked the same way that it did in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, nothing new. Still, if you want to be successful, you go buy a book, you hire a coach, or go to a seminar, right? I want to change that. And the only thing that I can do right now is find people who are killing it in this environment and learn from them. What are they doing? How are they melding the old ways of real estate and the new technology, right? How are people putting those components together and getting in front of the rest of their office.
Got it. I love it. Now, one of the things about Super Agents Live, as you know, Toby, we have a lot of real estate agents watching this. Everybody has to go to this superagentlive.com, superagentslive.com. I mean, some of the most fascinating interviews I've seen. And you also have really great tools. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the tools that you have on your website that help people? I know there's a mastermind group.
Oh, right. So one of the things, I'm trying to do a few different things. So one of the things that we hear over and over again, right, is if you want to be successful, you have to get in front of people. Number one, right, you go door knocking, get in front of people. Right. But number two, you need a coach. You absolutely 100% need a coach.
Touché.
It doesn't matter. I've had people that do $100 million on the show. They have a coach. So not everybody can afford a coach. Not everybody can throw down $1,000 a month, right? So I have some tools that I want to help people get that training, get that accountability they need. So number one is we have it's called Super Agent Nation, and we have a secret Facebook group, right? So that's what we're doing is we're letting the first 50 people in free, and then we're charging $10 a month. And basically it's a giant mastermind that people can, I want to keep it small, I want to cap it, but I want people to be able to share stories, ask questions, and have this little family intimate group. So we're doing that. As you level up from that, we're doing mastermind calls. So those are a little bit more expensive. They're $150, but we get 5 people with similar businesses, and we get on a call, right? I moderate it, and we put everybody in a hot seat, and basically it's coaching, but it's more intimate than the Facebook group. But it's not one-on-one. So we get about 5 people on a call. And then the third thing, we're doing webinars, and then I'm offering some coaching as well. And here's what I'm doing right now. Here's a product I'm building right now, Chris. Is there's 3 things that people want to know, right? It's how do you go and get leads? How do you build a farm? And how do you manage your time? Right? If you can do those 3 things, you're going to win. So right now I'm putting together a panel, and I think I invited you. I'm putting a panel of 25 top producing agents, and I'm going to ask them 3 questions. What type of lead generation do you do? What are the best scripts? And talk to me about the timelines to conversion once you start utilizing that method. I'm going to put 25 people, get their answers, compile them all into like a 4-hour product, and that's something we got to sell something, right? Because the show's free. You go to the podcast, it's free.
Right.
So that's going to be like either $150 or $199. I'm really excited about that.
Sounds like a great benefit. I'd love to be a part of it, man. If once you get to that step. But the thing that's interesting to me, you work with such top producing agents. I mean, you're interviewing these people all the time. Let me ask you this. Why real estate agents? I mean, you are super intelligent. I mean, you are a go-getter. You are successful in many businesses. What is it about real estate agents that you really want to help them?
Well, it was again, so I've got so many companies, they've all been sort of around real estate. Number one, so I understand it. Number one. Number two, as we said, I found that it's broken. Number 3, what I wanted to do was I really wanted to, if we had more time, we could get into my companies. But every single company I've built has been built on an opportunity, a window of opportunity. The bridge loan, the little fund, for example, right? That was perfect when the banks were not doing their job lending money. Once banks came online, that business went away. So I have this cycle of see an opportunity, start a company, and grow it. The opportunity I see today is for podcasting. Podcasting is going to go like this. Right, starting late 2014, you're going to be, if you have a GMC, a Ford, a Volvo, whatever, you're going to be able to get it in your car. So I wanted to start a podcast. I didn't want to start a general entrepreneur podcast, and I wanted to hone it down. Right, what again, like real estate, find your niche, find your specialty.
Niche. Perfect.
That's right. So as I thought about a niche or a niche, tomato, I was like, okay, should I do something for HR folks, right? And as I started thinking, I'm like, real estate is the perfect industry to go after this. Everybody wants to learn, and they're so that's how I chose real estate.
Well, I'll tell you, you have probably obviously associated with the creme de la creme of real estate agents, but there have to be a lot of real estate agents that aren't really doing all that well. What do you think, if you could narrow it down to like 1 or 2 things? Someone's sitting here in front of you right now. What is it that you think that real estate agents generally are lacking? What are they having a problem with? They just can't get over.
You know what? There's a lot of things, right? And as I said earlier, what people, lead generation. People want to, you know, if you want to win, you have to get out in front of people, right? So do you want to door knock? Not everyone wants to do that. Should you? You absolutely should. And then once you start to door knock, you know, and you start to get leads, right? Everybody knows about this porpoising effect, right? You get out there, you get some leads, and then you get involved and you fall down. So then it comes into scheduling. But I think in a lot of ways, right, you know, people, they need to let go of their ego. You know, people trip all over themselves. People know what to do. You know, I can tell you what to do, but you have to go out and execute it. So really it comes down to, why are you in this business? Know your why, right? And is it enough to say I want to be a millionaire? It's not enough. You need to know your why. You need to know what your drivers are. So, you know, again, it's a bunch of little things, you know, put together that people, again, just can't get out of their way.
Interesting. It's funny because I have a course myself that I sell to real estate agents, and the very first module is all about knowing your why. That is such a hot button with me. I mean, if you don't have that, then you're sort of dead in the water. I completely agree with you on that. Very cool. Toby, tell me this. You've had a lot of successes, but all of us entrepreneurs have stumbles in the road. We have challenges, things don't work. What's one of the biggest challenges you've had where something just didn't work, and how did you sort of pick yourself up and dust yourself off?
I mean, look. So there's two things, right, in terms of challenges. One, and it kind of just tied into this porpoising effect for me. You know, one of the things is, luckily, when I find something I want to do, I can stick with it, right? And I don't get distracted. And a lot of entrepreneurs have that shiny object syndrome, right? They start to do this and they're like, oh, I should try that. Yeah. So I'm pretty good about, you know, picking a path and going on it. I think one of the things that I struggle with, and I think that I think it's a common struggle, is as you build this business, right? You know, every business has a certain sort of elasticity that you need to build in, right? And so, again, it's ebb and flow. And if you can build the right systems and processes, you know, you can begin to manage that elasticity in a manageable way. I am just like everybody else, right? I think that, you know, as I build a company and I see success, I struggle with that. I struggle with going out and hiring that person and then letting go and saying, that's your job. I'll manage you. I'm not going to manage the process. Right. So I struggle with that. And, you know, and again, it's just something as I try to be just cognizant of where I'm at in the stream of time with the current project that I'm working on. You know, and the other thing, you know, a big challenge, big failure. Again, I've had a couple companies fail, and that's okay. You lose time.
Well, tell us about that. How do you handle that when these companies fail and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Well, you know, it's funny. Yeah, well, for me, it's not really like that, right? So the two failures that I had were actually the same idea done 13 years apart. And it was in '99, my first company. You know, we raised venture capital. We raised $7 million, and we started a company. And it was basically, we competed against Elance. If you know, hopefully everybody knows Elance at ODAS. So we competed. We were all too early. So that was the right idea at the wrong time. I launched a variation of that called Task Hero in 2012 because I thought the timing was right, and really the timing was right. The economy was bad, unemployment was very high. So this being able to outsource tasks to people, timing was right. There was online payments. It wasn't online payments back in '99. Right. But I realized, Chris, that I was building it for all the wrong reasons, right? In that case, that idea stuck with me, but my why was not there. And I built it, and I lost about $100,000 on that deal in 18 months of my life until I realized, hey, this is not the right thing for me, and or my heart wasn't in it, and so I let it go, right? And then I found a better idea, which is Super Agents Live. That's great. But one of the things, Chris, I'll tell you quickly is, you know, I was coming off another failure when I started Task Hero, and it was a bridge loan. It was a company came to me. I won't get into the specifics, but a company came to me and they wanted $400,000. And I looked at them and I took a pass on the deal the first time around. Then they came back a couple months later, and I took another look at them. And the deal never should have gone wrong. They had $1.2 million in receivables. They had $800,000 in retention. They had all this work, all these contracts. So I said, okay, I'll take a role. So this company did federal work, is what they did. So I gave them $400,000, and the big right. So what I charged was 6% a month. So all of a sudden I got $24,000 a month coming in from this one deal, And I got paid for a couple months, and then all of a sudden they didn't get paid, so I didn't get paid, and that vicious cycle kicked in again. I needed to throw more money at it, and I'm like, whoa! I brought in a buddy, he threw in another like $450, and basically we just said screw it. We said we're not going to fund it. We're just going to walk away from it, and we thought that the receivables, that 1.2 would come in and would get paid. Doesn't work like that in federal work, and I lost $400,000. Wow. And you know what? That hurts. That stung. That hurt me. It still hurts because that was sort of my deal money, right? And so, like, how do you get over that kind of failure? And it was basically, you know, this is something that, again, that real estate struggle with. It's about mindset, right? I lost $400,000. Well, you know what? I realized that I know how to make money. So, I put that on a shelf. And I'm moving forward. But that's, again, something I struggle with every day, and most other people do. Managing your mindset, right? Is that a failure? Yeah. Is it a learning experience? Absolutely.
Right.
So moving forward, I need to, I'm still managing it when I see deals, right? Am I too cautious now? Anyhow, but so manage your mindset.
Yep.
And it's easier said than done.
I love that. You know, what's interesting you said earlier too, Toby, was that, you know, you also talked about, you know, your heart wasn't in it. You know, your passion wasn't in, you know, the couple of those other deals too. So I think there's sort of a little bit of a correlation too between your, you know, knowing your why, understanding what your passion is, and also dealing with your mindset. But I absolutely couldn't agree with you more, man. That is pretty heavy stuff. And I think that is the biggest problem that real estate agents have nowadays is managing their mindset.
Absolutely.
You know, because a lot of times we're all just sort of like sitting on an island all by ourselves, little, you know, entrepreneurs making all these decisions and not really having the focus for us to really reach out to other people. So, which is a good segue into what I'd love our viewers to look at. If, you know, I think that you have the most amazing energy, Toby. You are so successful. If you had an agent that was brand new in the business, what would be the process you would love to see them go through on your website ideally? They sign into your website, they get you a free book, which is 11 steps, I believe, which is an amazing read. Everybody should definitely do that. After that, what should they do?
Well, you know, first, you just need to listen because, you know, again, we all know the steps. And what I try to do, Chris, I try to take people, there's, you know, through the process. I mean, everybody's, again, is at a different learning curve, a different part of the game. And I try to bring not just top agents on, but I try to bring young agents. I mean, I have a 32-year-old Patrick Ginn. He does, I think, like $38 million a year. He's like 4 years in the business, right? So that's one viewpoint. And then I have Sandra Hadley, who does like $60 million a year, but she's in her 70s, and she's still crushing it, right? So I try to vary the time in the industry. I try to vary the ages. I try to get lots of different viewpoints. So, you know, if you're a new agent, you need to go to superagentslive.com and just start listening. And the second thing you need to do is get a coach. And if you can't afford a coach, join a mastermind. Create your own mastermind. Go out and start to develop relationships in your brokerage, in your area, because you need someone. You need someone when, you know, when you're in the business, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees, but somebody outside your business, I mean, I can see things when people come to me that I coach, I can see things that they can't see because they're living it, and I'm detached. When you become emotionally attached to your situation, to an outcome, you can't see it. You don't know. Even though the steps are simple, but you need an outside viewpoint, and you need someone to keep you accountable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. What is the next big thing in Toby Salgado's life? What's the next big thing that you're launching or doing?
Sorry, I'm getting over something.
No worries.
My next, look, you know, so I try again, you know, I pick my projects and I stay focused on them. So I'm right now, I'm not necessarily looking at something different. I want to grow Super Agents Live. You know what I want to be, right? We should all think big. And one of my problems, you know, so I became, you know, I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. I had no money growing up. I wanted to be a millionaire. That was in my mind. And, you know, I became a millionaire on my own at 33. And then at 35, I was a multimillionaire, right? And I started making money. My problem, Chris, is that I wasn't thinking big enough. I thought I was. I said, oh, I want to be a millionaire. I thought that was a big enough goal. That wasn't. I should have said when I was in college, I should have had in my mind that I want to be a decamillionaire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I want to have a $50 million net worth, whatever. So my goal today, what I want to be the Tony Robbins of real estate. Now, I'm sure some of your listeners go, that guy's nuts, that guy's crazy. But you know what? That's what I want to be. I want to inspire people. I want to motivate people.
Absolutely.
So what is on my horizon, what is in my mind, is that's what I want to be. And I'm a firm believer that if you can, whatever you have in your mind and you believe it, the universe will push it to you. You will get it if you put in the hard work. So so stay tuned.
I love your energy and enthusiasm, and there is no doubt, Toby, that you're going to accomplish that goal. The Tony Robbins of real estate. We'll make sure that we keep our eye on you because you're definitely going to be there in short order. Can't believe it. But here's another question. You've got a brand new real estate agent sitting in front of you right now, sitting in front of your desk, and that agent says to you, Toby, I'm just starting out in the business right now. What's one or two things that I need to do now to guarantee me success in the coming years? What would you tell them?
What I would tell you is this, and I said it briefly a minute ago, is you need to look. I did an episode that was called "Your Network Is Your Net Worth." That's something I didn't do, man. And I've done so many things to so many people, and I just was like, okay, there's a deal, I'll do it. Or I met somebody, and I would never put them in my database, and that's hurting me today. That's not necessarily really hurting me, but I would be so much farther along if all those people I met, I put them in my database, and I followed up with them. So I would say, number one, go out. Start meeting people, wherever that is. I mean, I don't care if it's at the grocery store, it's at your local meetup or whatever. Start meeting people, put them in your database. And I mean, look, that's going to improve. It's going to improve your sales skills. It's going to make you more personal. It's going to help you out. So if you are a new agent right in front of me right now, number one, know your why, set out your goals, make sure you're thinking big enough. But number two, start to build your network, because your network 10 years from now will be your net worth.
That is amazing. I love it. Toby, this is a great interview. I really enjoyed talking to you. You have got the energy that is really going to propel you into superstardom. I can tell you right now. I love it so much. Listen, Toby, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. And thanks so much. And we wish you good luck and good success. And we're definitely going to keep track of you. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Look, man, I appreciate the opportunity to come on your show and talk to you and talk to your audience. So anybody out there, my email is Toby at superagentslive.com. I get lots of emails. I answer them all. I read them all personally, and I try to answer them all. So if you have any questions, send me an email, and I'm happy to be of service.
That's beautiful. Everybody make sure you email Toby, and make sure you go to superagentslive.com because it is an amazing website. Toby Salgado, thank you a million, sir. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Christopher Stafford.
Okay, we'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.
See you, bud.
Hey, talking to Toby was such a treat for me, man. That guy he is a fireball, man. Talk about energy, and you know that he is going to fulfill his dreams. He is going to be the Tony Robbins of real estate, and I can't wait to see that happen because we are going to make sure that we definitely stay in touch with Toby. So make sure you email Toby. Get in touch with him, man. Benefit from his experience. He is the kind of person you want to add to your network. So make sure you get in touch with Toby. Jump on his site. Listen to his podcast with these really aspiring real estate agents that are aspiring, inspiring, and they just are rocking it. So superagentslive.com. Get yourself there. And then also, too, make sure you send me some love down below. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think about Toby. Tell us what you think about the show. What do you think about the couch behind me? I don't care. Make a comment. You guys, thank you so much for joining the Max Show. My name is Chris Stafford, and I am with Massive Abundance, and may massive abundance be yours. Thanks so much.